Hey, Jamie, it's good to see you. I know that it took you guys a little bit to get there.
Yeah, that just makes us appreciate being here at Arrowhead even more. We had a heck of a travel day, as did a lot of Lions fans. I said this at noon that we met these really awesome guys, these Detroit police officers that were going through it with us. They texted me they got here at 2 a.m., so they're definitely hyped for today, Christy.
All right, so Bernie was talking a little bit about how he's seeing so many Lions fans out there. What have been your experience and some of the, I guess, diehard predictions and the loyalty we're seeing from fans who made the trip?
Well, absolutely. We had the privilege of going all across the country, flying around, and even in Dallas, we saw Lions fans. Everywhere we went, you know, the guys wearing the Local 4 logo, the Lions fans recognized it and say, you think they're for real this year? I think they're for real. Do you think they can go all the way? Can they host a playoff game? And that was everywhere we went yesterday. We're new to Kansas City since we got in so late, but we went around the stadium a little bit. I think that guy's honking for the Lions. There's Honolulu blue and silver everywhere in this town, and I think even if they don't make it into the stadium, they're going to be in the bars. They're just so ready. One guy in our hotel said, you know, when they're 0-0, this is the best time to be a Lions fan, and they believe in the hype.
You know, I feel like that here in Detroit, we've believed in the hype for a long time, or at least we've had the hope that something good would happen. And then now with Hard Knocks a year ago and Dan Campbell coming in, it seems like the Lions have really taken on this national presence of, oh my gosh, can they actually do it this year? Is that the sense that you're getting from fans?
Yeah, I mean, people want to know if they're for real. Well, they can prove it here tonight at Arrowhead Stadium. I mean, where's Steve Garagiola? Because I worked with him for so long. He'd bring out that Kool-Aid. He'd make blue Kool-Aid. I heard you mention that as well. And fans would drink it. And then maybe 5 weeks in, the Kool-Aid would go back in the closet, the powder at least, and then try again another year. But I think this year, they're going to be drinking it throughout the season. And, hey, they might even host a playoff game. Can you imagine the city of Detroit hosting a playoff game?
I mean, it would be insane. And I've always thought that the biggest sporting event ever would be if there was a Super Bowl parade in downtown Detroit. It would eclipse any of the other parades we've seen from the Pistons and the Wings. No disrespect there. But, Jamie, let me ask you also, what are some things that we should look out for tonight when we are watching the game?
I think we kind of need to look out for the new guys we hadn't seen in Lions jerseys yet. I heard Bernie mention Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a threat to run the football. He could rush for, say, 100 yards. He can also catch. And without Jamison Williams for the first 6 games, I know that Jahmyr Gibbs could be a big presence catching the football as well as running it. Of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I met Josh Reynolds' mom in the airport in Dallas. She's all hyped for him, so maybe he has a big game. On the other side of the ball, Aiden Hutchinson, year 2. Maybe he sacks Pat Mahomes a couple times tonight. That would be huge, too.
Yeah, so I heard that you ran into and talked to Mike Tirico, of course, who's calling the game, and one of the best sports guys around.
I mean, he's the best. He's a friend of Local 4, of course, and you'll hear him live with Bernie a little later on. I caught up with him at Michigan because he also called Michigan's first game. He is like the busiest guy in sports. He's seen it all, and he believes this Lions team is for real, and they'll prove it tonight.
If we want to know if they're for real or not, we find out in game 1 of the season. There are 272 NFL games, and the first one will tell you a lot about the Lions.
Mike Tirico says it's a tall task for any road team to win on the same night the Super Bowl banners are raised. Add in the Chiefs have one of the best duos in the league in Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and, well, it won't be easy.
The Lions have put themselves in position. I've warned people all summer just because the end of the year was great. And the last time you saw the Lions on TV in a game that mattered, they were ending the Aaron Rodgers era in Green Bay on NBC. It doesn't mean that they're going to pick up right where they left off. But they've done all the things, building the team, getting through training camp in the offseason to be in position.
On top of making the right moves on the field, Tirico believes the right decisions have been made off of it. The culture has changed. The tide is turning.
I think of the Jets game. You think of a couple of games during the year as games the Lions of old would have lost, but they won. They learned how to win last year. That 8 of the last 10, they learned how to win. They're not waiting for the other shoe to drop.
How big is it, do you think, to have Ben Johnson back, to have Jared Goff, to have these guys know this system and just re-rack, do it again?
I think that's huge. I think it says so much about where this organization is going right now and what has been built, starting with Sheila Ford at the very top and Chris Spielman and Rod Wood, the team president, and Brad Holmes, what everybody's built there, that Ben Johnson had head coaching opportunities and said, no, I want to stay here. That tells you from inside what they think they have there. That was perhaps the loudest statement in this offseason of what Dan Campbell and this regime has built, at least to me.
Analysts believe this team has what it takes. They're favored to win the division, and if that happens, watch out.
There would be nothing like a Lions parade or a Lions playoff game downtown in Detroit.
Chills.
That would drive the whole city off the deep end.
One thing is for sure, Lions fans are ready to dive in.
Well, Christy, Mike Tirico and you believe the same thing. A Lions parade would be absolutely amazing. So we're very excited for what's about to go down here at Arrowhead Stadium. Just one quick thing about the scene. We drove around this place to figure out where to be live, and they close the parking lots until they open them for a couple hours, maybe at 2 o'clock-ish. These guys can get in. Chiefs fans are very passionate as well, and they're already lined up, trying to get into this place. So it should be fun tonight.
Of course, you got to get your tailgate spot. Hey, Jamie, that was a great interview with Tirico. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you a little bit later on Local 4 News and, of course, the special at 6:30 tonight.